Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of the Shop and Tread Talk podcast. My name is Anise, and as usual, we got Frank with us today. Frank, how you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing great today. I am getting a little bit sleepy because it's getting dark outside, but otherwise, I had a fun day. It was a beautiful, warm day of like 23 degrees, which for an American that's really cold, but here it's warm. So had a great day, and today we have with us Tina from Philadelphia. I think you are. Um, Welcome to the show. Really glad to see that you're here with us today.
Yeah, thank you
And,
guys.
yeah,
Tina, why don't you introduce yourself? Kind of tell us your story. How did you get to where you are right now? Kind of where you came from, and how much you love the 76ers. You know, all the normal stuff about
Oh
Philadelphia.
man. Okay. Put me on the spot. Yeah, so I started I think back in maybe 2010. It was no offense to Frank, I listened to a couple episodes and I know that the age range goes up and down for the poor guy. But it was like right after high school, I had just left another job and I was looking for just something to do. And I just bought a motorcycle. And the guy that was working on my bike was like, put a Facebook post out and was like, hey, looking for an apprentice. If anyone's interested, reach out.
Yep.
So, like I said, I was in between jobs and I was like, you know what? I always was a kid that was taking my pen apart in school. I always was, active trying to do something. I'm a musician, I'm a drummer, so I'm always, tinkering with something.
Yep.
And so I ended up working with him for probably about a year, just kind of like literally learning the ropes. And he worked on a lot of like vintage stuff, older bikes, really nothing younger than maybe mid 80s.
Wow.
But a lot of CBs. He built this awesome cafe racer. He built another like Mad Max style bike. So I got to learn a little bit of welding, got to learn a bit of like fabbing. It
Mhm.
was a lot, and
Yep.
then when I left that, went back, to like a retail job and was sort of like bouncing back and forth. Moved to Philly, was working a corporate gig, and got a random like LinkedIn or Indeed message or something like that, and someone's like, "Hey, I have a client that's looking to build a motorcycle shop. He is looking for someone who has some interest, but also is wanting to learn." So linked up with this guy, worked for him for a little over a year, I think. And when I took, because I listened to a couple of your episodes, you have a couple um, people that were from like PA and other states that do safety inspections.
Yep.
So for PA motorcycles, you only have to do safety, you don't have to do emissions. So I went to get my safety inspector license, and I overheard the teacher in that class talking to this young guy. I guess he just got fired from a job and was like, yo, this local Toyota is hiring, for lube techs. And I was sort of at the end of my time with the motorcycle job. I was like, okay. So I applied and got an interview, got the job like the next week, and pretty much just started as, lube tech and worked my way up to flat rate. I was doing a bunch of training for all the new incoming lube techs after me and stuff like that. And then after about a year and a half there, I saw Girls Auto Clinic. And I'd had friends that had taken their cars there before. I, at that time, had a huge 95 2500 pickup Dodge Ram. And
Yeah.
the shop is 3 bays. It's pretty small. No room for it, unfortunately. So I had never been able to take my vehicle there, but I had friends that had.
Yep.
So I saw that Patrice was hiring, sent a message, and it was like, hey, I'm looking for something new. This flat rate isn't really working out for me. I was in that middle area where I had some great master techs above me, some great younger guys that had literally started when they were teenagers in the shop at Toyota. And so I had like some good leaders around me, some good education through the dealership, but I just wasn't able to survive, and so like
Yeah.
I liked it there. I just wasn't able to survive because I just didn't have that knowledge yet. So I never went to school. Here you don't have to do an apprenticeship or anything like that. So you can just start, at any shop that you find, as long as they're willing to take you. So,
Yeah.
I'd had about a year and a half of experience at Toyota, and then got hired at Girls Auto Clinic and have been there now just about 4 years.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that about motorcycles. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. 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 I miss it. I definitely want to get back to dabbling. The way that people are driving on the roads, I don't know if I'm ready to get a bike again yet, but I do miss it.
I I have a bike. Actually, Margarita and I each have a bike, but I don't work on my bike at all. Other than I have to rewire my taillights right now. But as far as anything else on a bike,
So the
no, I ship it out. We got a guy nearby that does an amazing job.
Oh,
So
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
I'd rather get on my bike and just ride it instead of
Yep.
having to do any work on it.
Yep, for
So
sure.
I just recently had to get a tire put on it. Took it out for on Wednesday. Took it out for a ride. Boy, that tire gripped hard. Fun, but
Said I'm not
that's
ready
cool.
for that. Yeah. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
lucky at the one job I got to do some tracks racing, not
Oh
racing, but
wow.
we got to go on the track at the Pocono track. And I had never been on a sport bike. I'd always been on cruisers. So that was my first time on a sport bike. And then I got to do two up with, oh man, I forget his name, but he's like a world class racer, like Gary or Greg something. But we were going into turns at like 120 miles an hour, and I just was so glad he was so good at what he did.
yep,
But yeah, I got to do some like really cool stuff in a lot of these jobs and things like that. I got to go to Arma Vintage Days, things like that when I was with the other guy. So
Wow.
it's been nice to sort of see that side of things. And then Frank, we met at Tools, so it was really cool to sort of see in comparison to like the motorcycle, not conferences, but events and stuff that I'd gone to, see the
Yeah.
way that the auto industry does it. And it was a blast.
yep.
Was that
Oh, that's cool.
your first conference, Tools?
Yeah. Yeah. That was my first conference. Never had heard of it. I knew that always kind of knew that there's like groups and stuff around in the States, our continent, whatever. But yeah, this was the first I heard of it. And my boss was like, "Hey, I'm going to sign you up for this thing if you've got time to go." So
That's
Well,
amazing.
I was so thankful I got to do that. Um, and like I said, even meeting you, Frank, it's nice for someone like me who lacks in that like scholastic education to now have more connections with people who are like mentors, to be able to like ask questions, or even just to have that support and have you in my back pocket, when I'm sure something comes down the line and I'm like, I need this dude's help.
and 100%, and that's what it's all about for something like that, is making those
Definitely.
connections. And I went on a journey too, and believe it or not, that was my first conference as well.
Yeah.
And the reason I was there is because my whole journey this year is to make connections. This is how Anise and I met through TikTok, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I have met so many people, and like you say, now there's people that I can call on and be like, hey, I've got this problem, I need some help with it. And I've been in the industry for a lot of years, and I still need help, right? So,
For sure.
I've
Yeah.
yeah,
basically been
just
bugging the
having
hell
these
out of
people.
Frank, since we met
Oh
to
yeah,
go to a conference since like day one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he went to one. Now he's got the itch.
Yeah. I was
yeah.
gonna say it.
Now it. Well, I got to go to second. I'm signed up and paid for the
ASTA.
ASTA in North
Down in
Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah. Yeah. If I
Yeah,
if I can't do that one, I want to try to do the Super Saturday that's around us.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely want to try to get to as many of those as possible. Just like I said, I don't know, I learned so much. I learned so much and was able to bring it back to the shop. We've lost our like master tech. So now a lot of us the three of us who work in the shop are sort of on our own,
Yeah.
and there's so much new stuff out there. There's so much old stuff out there. And all of us each, it's great because we each have our own like unique skills, I feel like. So we're able to bounce things off of each other a lot. Our service advisors are great. They're always checking in on us. They are doing such an amazing job this year. It's been a tough year just because of the economy, but everyone
Definitely.
is really, I don't know, it feels like we're doing a really great job with everything that's been thrown at us. But being able to sort of like keep that team mindset going, because
Yeah.
just to be like, all right, the three of us might need to put our heads together for this car, just
Well,
to try to figure it out.
it sounds like you've got a very good culture just from the little bit I'm hearing at your shop. I mean, because again, you said that you're the owner of the shop or your boss sent you to
Yeah,
tools. I mean, that's a huge statement
incredible.
in
Yeah,
that, because there are a lot of shop owners, and Frank will agree that they don't have that same kind of mindset where they're going to send their team members. I try not to use the word employees, but
yeah,
their team members to
for sure.
training. I mean, that's massive. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
even when Frank went to tools, one of his team members, he sent him out for training for, I believe it was electrical, right, Frank?
Yeah, yeah. He
that's
had to
awesome.
go to North Barry for electrical training, and it was his first time going as well. Now it wasn't a conference; it was just like a one block of training
Yep,
for 3 days.
yep.
But he came back with an incredible amount of knowledge,
Yeah,
and I'm
you
like,
come back excited.
yeah. But I told him too. I said, look, if you don't use this, you're going to lose it now, and that's something
Yeah,
they told us too.
Yeah,
So a couple of times I've pulled him into a job that I'm doing. I'm like, okay, well, I know this is what you've learned, so
mm,
let's reiterate this so
yep,
that you don't forget it.
yeah,
But you can't just rely on doing it all at work, because sometimes you have to do that kind of stuff at home. You have to
yeah,
really be into it. Stuff like that I missed out on many years because I didn't have the support to do that kind of stuff. Now want to make sure that my employees or team members have that support to be like, this is something that you need to work on, you need to learn, you need to build on it, and the more you build on it, the better you are going to become at your job, and in turn, the better you're at your job, you're going to make more money. It's
yeah,
That's how this society, that's how this whole
absolutely.
system, right?
yeah. Things can only change if we change, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
If we're gonna just keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's just gonna be the same cycle. Nothing's gonna break. So
Yeah,
if you don't break the cycle of, hey, you know what, this conference could be something that you're going to learn a lot from. There's these certain instructors are going to be there, top notch from North America instructors are going to be there teaching this class, and you can gain a lot from it. If you're not even encouraged by your employer to go to these kind of events,
yeah,
well, that's a little bit of a red flag as well,
for
especially
sure,
if they're not sending you to any kind of training,
for
whether it's an
sure.
expert or not. If you're not being encouraged to get training or go to training, then there's a whole other conversation you got to have with yourself,
Yeah, yeah. I feel
because
like
in this
we've
industry
gone.
you got to be able to grow, and the only
Oh
way to
yeah,
grow is to have that encouragement that, hey, there's this training, why don't you go and sign up, why don't you do this? But if you stay stagnant in the same spot doing the same thing and not increasing your skills or finding yourself being challenged, then you kind of get in that funk where you're like, well, let's do another brake job on a Corolla, and then
yep,
tomorrow let's do a brake job on a Civic, and ooh, maybe the next day I might get a Dodge Ram. I
right.
mean, you want to feel challenged, you want to feel like it's not the same thing every single day. And again, some days it's nice to have the same thing every day if
Yeah,
you've got a
yeah. You gotta
crazy
have that
week, but
balance.
you want to have some sort of a challenge at least, sharpen your skills and learn something new, because this industry is evolving every month. I mean, with AI and everything, you could learn something today, and then 6 months later, something else has come out, and if you don't know about it, you're gonna be left in the dust.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like our shop, we've definitely gone through like some growing pains, but like some incredible growth through that. Our boss is really pushing lately to do not just conferences, but the smaller classes at like our local auto parts places, like churches, and Barrington. Like they'll have little classes. You get a dinner, you hang out, listen to an instructor for
Yep.
a while, and just being able to like send us to stuff like that so that we have that little bit more information and that little, that next step. And
Exactly.
then seeing, a lot of the classes I took at Tools were for the diagnostic process, and realizing throughout my education, especially through other people, we all have our own way of doing stuff, but making sure that I have a solid starting point, that's what they were saying is do the same thing as best you can every time, and you will be able to find those answers easier, and it'll become more fluid. And being able to have that, and like I said, coming back excited, sharing that with my teammates, being able to also learn from them. I am not an electrical wizard. I have tried my best. I know it's not my strength, but having people there that are good at that, and
Yeah,
being able to be like, hey, I remind me how to check the resistance of this again. Can you remind me how to do that? And all of us being able to, work off of each
for
other. But
sure.
yeah, we've really like taken that time to really focus on getting ourselves educated, getting ourselves up to speed. We have connections with other shops in the area, so when something is out of our depth, we're going to send you to someone that we trust to do it.
Yep.
And there's certain, of course, like dealer things that we can't do, but trying to navigate that, learn that stuff, and build that trust with our clients and customers to be able so that they know, like, oh, okay, these people know what they're talking about. This is the next step that I need to take. And being able to do that, and being able to share the stuff like I met Coralie, I listened to
Yeah,
her episode that you guys had, and just
she's
hearing
awesome.
her story and hearing just like the similarities of like, oh, I'm so excited about this. I want to share it with people. And that's what Girls Auto Clinic is about. And Patrice goes around and she'll share, basic car maintenance and then other more in-depth stuff for people so that they can feel that comfortable confidence in taking care of their vehicle, because it's what we unfortunately need nowadays to get ourselves to and fro.
One thing I just want to touch on, you said something actually really interesting and important, that sometimes you'll get a vehicle that's not in your wheelhouse and you will send it out.
Yeah.
A lot of shops, including mine, kind of back in the day, would try to take that job on and see if we could do it, kind of be the hero, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can do this, we can figure it out, I have a mechanic, well, why
Right.
can't we do it? It's
Right.
it's not that, it's if it's not something that you regularly do or you're kind of trained in that particular thing. Sometimes you can open up a can of worms,
For sure.
and then you're going to end up having to ship it out to someone to fix your screw up.
For sure.
Then you look like an idiot
Yep.
because then the customer's like, well, what happened, where's my car? Oh, I had to take it to another mechanic. That customer's gone, he's never come back to you.
Yeah. Out of there.
The best business practice you can have is understanding what you can and cannot do, and realizing that when you can't do it, just like we had one the other day, and we're just like, hey, you know what? We can't do this. Here's a number of somebody that can. We
Yep.
trust this garage. We trust this person. Send them over there. Because if you do that, you know that the next time they need something that isn't what that, they'll call you first,
Yeah.
For sure.
because now they trust you. They trust and say that, hey, you know what? This is a garage. This is a mechanic that I can trust. That's going to have my best interests at heart,
Exactly.
regardless of whether they fix it or not.
It's not about the money. You gotta
Yeah,
you gotta do what's right by the customer.
Yeah.
and there's enough work out there for everybody. So if we
Absolutely.
like, I don't work on German cars, right? So I take the
Mm,
German, I ship them to the neighbors, right?
yeah.
Let them deal with it because they're good at that.
They're the pros.
They're the pros at that. So why
Yeah.
would I try to figure something out that I really don't understand?
Hmm.
Maybe if I want a challenge and I got nothing else to do, and I'll try to challenge myself to learn it. But as far as on a regular production day, man, I would rather just you take it over there for your sake, for their sake, for everyone's sake, and
Yep.
it'll be healthier for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of that Euro stuff, like besides suspension, brakes, and tires, nope.
Yeah,
I'm
we
Yeah,
not.
definitely pick and choose our battles with that
I'm not
stuff.
getting into it.
yeah,
If
and
it's
then Margarito punishes me by buying a mini. So now we have to.
you now by default have to become an expert. So
I will fix it, honey, when I get a minute.
Oh, it's broken already?
Frank, you gotta
No,
be fixing
we
her car
bought it
first, man.
broken. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it together. We're
Got
gonna
to.
fix it together.
Oh, that's
I mean,
sweet.
really, you shouldn't even be recording right now, Frank. You should be fixing her
Get
car.
out
This is the
there.
time off.
No, it's dark outside. I can't work when it's dark.
Oh God!
All those headlamps that you bought, I'm sure. It's fine.
All those also
Yeah.
tool lights are not going to help you fix the car at night. Come on!
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Oh my gosh!
Uh, but anyways, that one, when we finally get time to work on it, it it's
I
moving
believe
up
in
in our.
you.
But it'll be a fun car. It'll be a fun car when we have it. But
Yeah.
it'll be a learning process for sure because it needs some body work. It needs some electrical work.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, well, whatever.
some
We'll
fun
figure
stuff.
it out.
Yeah.
But see, that's it's your own vehicle, right? So
Yeah.
when you take the same look at a customer's vehicle that they're expecting to drop the vehicle off, and you tell them, I'll have it ready in a few days,
Right.
and then you call them in a few days, and you're like, yeah, we're still trying to figure out the wiring on this and that because this is not starting, and I can't find this diagram. They're gonna say, well, why the hell did I leave the car here?
I've been there, buddy. I have been there, and no, it's one of those things when it just drives you up the wall. Sometimes you just got to walk away from it.
But
And
it's sometimes we get
sometimes what
that.
I do is I just
Yeah.
park it, and then I go back in the evening when there's no one to bother me, nothing, and then I can really think about it. And then it's like, oh, you know what? I haven't checked this or this and this, and then you can work through. Sometimes you can work through it that way better than if you have the stress of the whole day
Just
around you.
staying stuck on it. Yeah, I definitely find myself having to like, if it's real frustrating, I'll walk away. Like I'll walk to the back lot, take a little breather, come back to it. Sometimes I don't have the time to like drop it, but if we call the customer, hey, we need another day. Usually
Yeah.
they're pretty relaxed about it,
Yeah.
and just letting them know like we want to make sure we're right about this, want to make sure we're thorough. But it's usually never an issue. But yeah, definitely need to take that time to step away because I want to fix it. That's I
That's
want to fix
the
the
whole name of the
problem.
game.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, oh, I can't get this ball joint out, or I can't figure out
Mm.
this diagram, or I can't, and just like sitting there, and I'm like, I am not helping myself. Let me maybe scream a little bit, maybe a couple of choice words, and then I'll go do something else.
I,
Yeah.
you know what I always tell my apprentice, and he gets frustrated easy, but I always tell him like, once you get frustrated, you're losing focus, right? If you're frustrated and it's just not working, just walk away from it. Go take 5 minutes, do whatever, think about something completely else, and then come back to it when you got a clear mind and then start over again and be like, oh crap, that's what I missed, and then
Mm,
all of a sudden it just works, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
It really is a very simple mind that way. The more you get mad at it, the worse it's going to be. You can't get that bolt out. Look at it from a different angle. Right?
right.
Do something else. Today. We had a belt tensioner. Couldn't get it out. Couldn't get it out for nothing.
Mm,
Funny. I look over and I said, "Look, just take the motor mount out, jack it up a bit. It'll pop right out." I heard him say, "He's like, well, I'll never do that without jacking up the motor mount again." And it was just like it came so easy, right?
right, right.
You needed a different point of view. You needed a different mindset, and just
Yeah.
change what you're seeing, change what you're thinking, and all of a sudden it works.
Yep.
Sometimes half the issue is the shop owners trying to have that. I'm looking at you, Frank, and myself too. But sometimes it's the shop owners that have that hero mentality that I want to be the person that can get this car fixed because the other four shops couldn't fix the car, but
Mm,
no, my shop can fix it, and I know that Frank is really good at fixing this on Tuesdays, and you know he can fix it. And then you give the car to Frank, and he's like, "What the hell is this? I don't work on this stuff."
right.
But then the shop owner's like, "No, but Frank, you're a mechanic. You can do it, right?" So what happens is Frank's like, "Okay, well, I guess there's no work. Let's work on it." And then it doesn't. Let's say it doesn't get done in the time that you
Mm,
have allotted for the job, and then it's taking longer, and then you are now upset with your mechanic because it's not getting done in the time that
mm,
you wanted it to get it
right.
done. So now you've now created friction with your tech for no reason because it was your fault in the beginning for taking the job that is not in your wheelhouse.
Right.
So a lot of that frustration that Frank's talking about, what he was talking about is kind of another situation, but you bring that frustration onto your tech sometimes by giving them these jobs that are not anywhere near what they're used to doing.
Mm,
If it's something way out in left field, you know, at least have that conversation with the tech and say, "Hey, look, I'm thinking about taking this job. What do you think?" Because
yeah,
you're the one working on it, not me.
for
I'm
sure.
going to be typing some numbers and clicking some buttons, and then tell the customer that, "Hey, we'll get it done." But the tech themselves, if it's something that they're not comfortable doing, don't freaking start it, because you're just going to open up a can of worms and get that 1-star Google review for what?
I had a conversation recently with the man that gave me my first job. He's a wonderful man. He's 91 years old now, and
Mm,
last Wednesday when I was riding my motorbike, I seen his bike was out, so I stopped and talked with him. And yes, he still rides at 91. Yeah, and he was talking about when I started for him one day he had gave me a job and he said, "Hey, go to that Ford over there and give it a carburetor adjustment." And he handed me a screwdriver, and I looked at the screwdriver and I looked at him and I looked at the car and I said, "You do realize that I was born after carburetors were extinct?" And well, it wasn't quite. I was a few years earlier than that, but he looked at me and he's like, "Oh, I guess you're right." And I just never, I never worked on carburetors, and I didn't know nothing about them, right? But he didn't even think it. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, well, I guess you're not going to work on it," so he gave it to the other guys. But
mm,
what, and he understood that I didn't know how to do that job, and now I needed to be trained and taught how to do that job. And I got, I never understood carburetors, so it wasn't my thing. I was a fuel injection guy for sure, right? Like,
yeah, I'm a carburetor gal. I prefer them. I also
oh,
like, I think one of the first things that I got to do, we had a bike that was just really bogged down, and I took the carbs off, just like, and checked the bowls and the floats, and it was just like crusted over. And so I got to take it home, and like one of the first things I got to do was just cleaning out a
Yeah.
carburetor. And it was just, oh, this is the jet
Satisfying, eh?
screw, and just like getting to mess with it. And, later on we had another bike that was fuel injected, and he and I couldn't figure it out. I'm sure it was something easy now that I have a little bit more knowledge now, but it just felt so foreign after working on carbureted bikes, two strokes and things that were just a bit more, here's A, here's B,
Yep.
this is it.
yeah, if you don't have the information on a fuel injection, like a directional bidirectional scan tool that can
Right.
really read the information and then being able to learn how to interpret that information that you're seeing, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, you're going to be lost. You're going to be
Lost in the
lost, and
sauce.
then I can understand where a carburetor is 1,000 times easier, right? Because it's just air and fuel, and you just have
Right.
to make it work together, right?
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's, that's what you were talking about was one of the things that our service advisors have gotten really good at lately is we usually don't take walk-ins. We're booked about a week out. So what they'll often do, especially if it's, something they're not sure of, is we always have like a daily meeting in the morning just to go over our schedule and, see what's going on. But if they see a weird job or something that is new, like you were saying, they'll be like, "Hey, Tina, is this something that you've done before? Are you familiar with this?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm not, but my other coworker might be." I'll be like, "Yeah, this one's fine." They'll check the times with us about it, but I feel like that has definitely helped. We don't catch it all the time, especially when there's some of those like snowball jobs where it's like, all right, when to do this, and then see that
Yeah.
this is broken or this did
The
break.
conversation was had, right? That's the
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. And I think that that's definitely helped us out a lot. And then with the expectation, like you said, on the customer end of now my service advisors have much more knowledge because we've had this conversation to be like, oh, okay, we see this fuel pump job where we have to drop the tank,
Yep.
it's going to be this amount of time as opposed to what this one might be where we're just in the back seat, so being able to have just those sorts of conversations has really helped us out, I feel like, a lot to know what our capabilities are and also like to help us know what are the other things that we want to learn. what stuff is going to help us get to that next level with where we're at now, the things we're comfortable with, the things we're getting more proficient at. And then we do want to push ourselves. And like you said, we don't want to jump to this job I've never ever seen before, never done before, have no experience with, and I'll just give it a shot. But finding that balance of, all right, this is something close to what I've done. I
Yep.
have someone who has that expertise that's working with me, getting that stuff completed. But yeah, I feel like those conversations are so important to have, just especially ahead of time, so that the expectation is laid out for the tech and the customer, and the service advisor knows how to have those conversations either way, because they always have that balancing act of having to placate us grumpy little technicians, and then also, working with the customers to navigate whatever else they might need to do.
You also show a level of respect to the technician
Oh
when
yeah.
you're asking them that, hey, there's this job that's coming up, let me get your thoughts on it, right? Because like I said, you gotta have the respect of asking them, like, what do you think? Is this something that you're comfortable with? Because at least
Yeah.
that tech knows that the owner is thinking about them,
Yeah.
and they're not just going to throw a job and say, here, do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because that ends up hurting you guys, when,
Oh
and
yeah.
we don't want that.
No. And then no one's happy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good for the service advisors and the owners to believe in their staff, but you have to know their staff limitations as well,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
You can't just go to their staff like I heard one time say, "Oh, it's just nuts and bolts."
Oh god.
Well, it is just nuts and bolts to an extent, but there's more to it than that. And and if you don't know how to take it apart, or you don't know how, like, you wouldn't go throw a rookie into a timing chain job and say, "Here, it's just nuts and bolts. Just take it apart, put it back together." Right? It's more intricate than that. So when the service advisors, the owners, when they understand that, then they can be like you said, you decide which tech, which apprentice, which employee going to be the best fit for this job,
Yep.
and not give them a job that they're going to absolutely struggle with and fight with and not be able to comprehend, right?
Yeah.
So
I think
so
Frank,
like,
you and I just had that conversation the other day,
yeah,
about just basically, you'll have a handful of techs that, tech A loves doing steering suspension. When they get this job should take 3 hours, they knock it out in an hour and a half because it's
Right.
so easy. They do it in their sleep. And then this tech here loves wiring diagrams and does this. Give the techs that have those particular strengths, give them those jobs,
Hmm.
because they're gonna whip through that like it's butter, and the time that they save, they can actually go and help tech A over here that might need a hand. So everyone's winning,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
right? So you just have to play on the strengths.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's nice to be able to help each other out when you're in a shop setting like that. Not just be like, that's what I've never worked in a shop where it was flat rate only, where, and like, how would you ever get help if you're like stuck on flat rate and you can't, right? So
It
I
depends
think
on the
it's
shop,
very
though,
important
Frank.
to
There
work in
are
a shop
some.
where you can help each other and lift each other up, and you're like, hey, you know what? I know you're struggling with that. This is how I do it. If it helps make your life easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why I feel like I got really lucky when I was working at the dealership, because, everyone above you is flat rate, but the fact that they all still were willing to take time
Yep.
to show me jobs, to, train me for weeks on end, to get me leveled up to the next steps, that's the sort
It
of
speaks
stuff that
volumes.
yeah, that I hang on to and I keep with me. Is it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like you said, we all win when we're all winning. And being able to take that 10 minutes, teach someone something new or learn something new yourself, and then you have that experience, expertise to be able to share with other people. And I think that that's something that, no matter the situation in your shop, that's something positive to look for, not the time hoarding, the people that, oh well, I know that Gary's going to give me the best jobs, that sort of thing. Like, I've heard these stories, but I've just been really lucky with the places I've worked, where the people actually worked as a team, and there's always going to be ups and downs and things like that, but like still having that team oriented goal of we want to turn these cars out, we want to make sure that our customers are happy, we want to continue to grow our skills and also not overwhelm ourselves, so that we burn out in 5 to 8 years doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Burnout is very real.
Yeah.
I've been there. I was there. I was there a couple times, and a few times where I felt like I was completely burned out. I'm like, okay, I mean, I need to take a week off, and I took a week off, just chilled at home, just did whatever, and then I was able to go back to work and continue again. But there gets to a point where if you're actually constantly just being pushed and pushed and pushed, and it's like I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't if I hadn't quit my job when I did and got to start my own shop, I wouldn't be in the trade right now. I would have quit the trade. I would have done something else just because I'm like I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I think
But
you would have
now I have
definitely
a
been a
new
hair
life.
model, Frank. I already know.
What's that?
Frank would have been a hair model by now, that's for sure.
Beautiful. Yep.
That's
Oh,
right. Yeah, but
hey,
only at the front, not at the back. Don't look at the back.
Just front
no
shots.
one said
Let's
about the
yeah.
back of your head, Frank. Just the front facing model. That's okay.
Yeah, I can do kind of a side model too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just don't do a 360 because then you'll lose a job.
I'll be like that new Toy Story movie where Buzz comes and he takes his hat off and he's got the nice shiny bald
Yeah.
spot back there.
This wasn't in your resume, Frank.
You lied to us.
Yep.
But
Yep.
in all seriousness, sometimes it takes a mentor, it takes a friend, it takes an acquaintance to change your perspective on your job, on your ethic, on life in general when it comes to this industry, because this industry is very tough. It's not
Yeah.
for everybody. It's not a walk in the park. People may think that even us owners were there and we may look like we're not doing something, but we got that stress on our head and we've got to worry about paying all the bills, paying all our team
Sure.
members, and keep everything floating. But at the same time, without having that team of techs in there, shop's nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of owners need to realize that you need to keep your techs happy. It's not all about just giving them a pizza party once a month or something. It's not
Right.
about that. You got to keep them happy, pay them well, and again, show them respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
there was a poll. I can't remember who was telling me, but you know, pay is not even in the top three things that the tech is concerned about. It's down to about 6 or 7.
Yeah. I believe that.
Because a lot of people would be okay making a few bucks less, but when they walk into work, they feel respected. They feel like they belong there,
Yeah.
and they
Absolutely.
don't wake up in the morning. Oh God, I got to go to Frank's garage. Oh my God, again.
Not again.
I can understand that. I worked at a place like that. Okay,
Yeah,
and it's not fun, right? Dreading having to go to work.
life's short, right? Like you really gotta enjoy what you do, and
Well,
because there's a lot
my
of choices of employment, right? So if
Yeah.
you're gonna go into
yeah,
work somewhere, you better enjoy it.
my tech said to me the other day, it's really nice coming to work, and not getting yelled at. And I'm like, oh,
It's
I
a
never thought it was
beautiful.
like my place, so maybe I should start.
Well,
The bar is so low for a lot of techs, especially like newer, younger techs. So just how like people feel comfortable treating
Yeah,
newer people in the industry, and I feel like I've heard such like horror stories about people pretty much feeling like they're getting pushed out, because of stuff like that. But, that's why I've been at this place for 4 years. We have a 4-day work week. We have trainings that are provided, and, there's other benefits beyond, like you said, just the financial aspect of my literal pay that
yeah,
have helped make my work life balance so much better. I now have the energy to do things when I'm off work, but I also now have the energy and the rest time to be able to come back to work as a whole person,
Yeah.
and we all have had experiences in those places that it just drains you, or it feels like you said, oh, I do not want to go into work. And I feel like I haven't had that feeling working here. There are rough days, of course. There's days that I'm like, man, I'm here late an extra 2 hours trying to finish this up, to get this work in or whatever. But I feel like I haven't had that sinking feeling, that
Yeah.
I've definitely had in other jobs before. And being able to find a place where, like you said, you can feel comfortable coming into work, and even if you mess up, you're not going to get screamed at and called stupid.
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me where I didn't know something, and someone calls me stupid, and I'm just like, well, you lost all my trust.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
Yeah, no reason for me to be here anymore. But being able to be like, oh, you don't know something? Let's try to get you some classes, education for it. Here's some support through this. Being able to do stuff like that, whether it's financial, whether it's just literal support, it's such a huge thing. And I think, like you said, a lot of shop owners are starting to sort of pick up on that of, yeah, pay is important, but also the culture of your facility is just as important, and the health of your technicians, their mental health, their physical health is
Yeah.
just as important. Supplying PPE, making sure you got good facilities, the simple things like that are so important to take care of your team.
I mean, Frank, I'm sure you'll agree with me. As hard as it is to find techs and find help, I mean, the techs and the team members you have right now, treat them like gold, because they're working at your place. They're taking care of your customers
For
that
sure.
you have spent all your marketing dollars on getting through the door, that you have groomed from like a plant from a seed into this tree, and this tree keeps producing and coming back to you and coming back to you. But if you're not taking care of the tree trimmer, which I guess you can call the tax, then that tree is going to die, and that tree is going to go back into the ground, and it's gone.
Yeah.
And that customer is going to go to another shop, and that other shop is going to treat them like gold, and that's it. It's
Yeah.
done. All that time you put into acquiring that customer, taking care of that customer, can be gone very easily, and it could
So
just
quickly.
be a misunderstanding that you may have had with a tech, or something that was said that both of you don't like how things ended, but there was no conversation to fix it.
Right.
So that just lingers on, and then you get a really good customer coming in for a simple brake job, let's say, and the tech walks in and takes the key out of their hands and, what do you want? Front brakes? All right. And just that little thing like that, that customer say, well, something's changed. Like, I'm getting
Yeah.
this weird vibe, weird aura. I'm going
Hmm.
to get my brakes done this time, but the next time I need something done, I'm going to make a few phone calls because something's different here,
For sure.
right? That just ruins stuff, right? I mean, again, Frank knows it's not hard to. It's not, sorry, it's not easy to find new customers, and it's even harder to keep the same ones because there is a lot of options around to take your vehicle, right? So you want to make sure that you
Absolutely.
are the best option for that customer.
Yeah, you always gotta have something that would give them a reason to come back, whether it's a smiling face or whether it's a bowl of candy. We got one customer comes in because he loves taking a handful of
Nice little
candy.
snacks.
Yep.
Oh, it's amazing. But it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes it's little things like that, or a comfortable atmosphere where they can. Everyone says we don't want to have waiters, but you'll always have some. But if they got a
For sure.
comfortable place to sit, right, like
Yep.
not that your waiting room feels like a dungeon or an
Yeah.
easy your
Or a
popcorn.
doctor's office.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that, or like we started recently where uh, we would give them a ride back into town. We're just outside of
Nice.
town,
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
so we started doing that, and man, it's some people are like, oh really, oh that's amazing, like yeah, drop me off, yeah, pick me up, that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's a great service, and it's really a little thing, but
Hmm.
if you have the staff and you're able to do that kind of stuff, that's a great service to offer to the customers. And now you can have a different type of clientele, a better clientele,
Right.
more clientele that you're catering to,
Right.
you know, air quotes,
Yeah.
and making things work for them. Because otherwise, they would have been like, oh man, I don't know when I can drop that off. I don't know this or that. Or like be open different hours, right? Maybe you open at
Mm-hmm.
7, maybe you close at 6, so that customers have a chance to pick up and drop
Right.
off and before they go to work or something like that, right?
Right.
All those kinds of things, just little things that can uh, make the experience that much easier and better for them. Because having to fix your car is stressful enough.
Yeah.
Having to deal with all that other kind of stuff, that's no fun, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
We
mean
just
we're lucky we have, one of the big things about Girls Auto is we have a nail salon that's attached.
oh,
So
nice.
our nail tech, Miss Maggie, every customer can get a free manicure, with whatever service they're getting.
Oh, nice.
But we have like a couple different waiting areas and people will, hang out whether we knew they were waiting or not, but they'll come and hang out, bring their computers, do some work, some people take a nap, like just as long as you feel comfortable, and being able to trust that, like, yeah, we're going to take care of your car. You can sit back, relax, and just being able to, like you said, create that atmosphere of just comfort in multiple ways beyond just we're going to keep your car safe. You are a part of this as well. Whether it's
Yeah.
good
Exactly.
news or bad news, I got to tell you, what can we fix? What do we need to do? That sort of stuff. Like, it's going to be different and the same every day, but having a place where people can feel comfortable expressing the natural emotions that come with, like, I have a car in this economy. It's not easy sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of this extra stuff is all kind of baked into your labor rate and shop supplies and stuff like that. So, sometimes I haven't in a while, but sometimes they'll ask, why is your labor rate higher than the others? I'm like, because my service is unlike any other.
Yeah.
Can you disagree? They're like, I mean, no. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And we send, like, Frank is dropping off customer stuff. We don't have an extra person to kind of drop off, so I just send everyone home in an Uber.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes they'll get an Uber back, or those message me, hey, are you able to pick me up? I'll say, no, I'll just send a car and bring
Yeah.
them back. It's
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks round trip, but who cares? That 40 bucks is just cost of doing business. The customer's
Right.
happy. They got to go home in their sit in their pajamas while you fix their car, and
Absolutely.
they come back, then their car's done, they pay and they go.
Yes. We don't have the option of Uber. We live in a small town.
Yeah. You are the Uber.
Frank is
We
the
are the
Uber.
Uber. Yeah.
No, but again, serving your customer, taking care of your customer, that's the name of the game. And if you do that, the shop will take care of you. The customers will take care of you. You'll get those customers coming in asking for you in particular because
Yeah.
they know how you take care of their vehicle.
Yeah, for sure.
And when that starts happening, the owner of the business, again, they look at that stuff like, oh, a customer comes in. No, I want Tina to look at my car because she'll make sure that it's not going to blow up. So, all
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
make sure she looks at it.
I'll do my best.
Speaking of blowing up, sometimes customers' cars do catch fire,
Uh-huh.
What happened,
and
Frank?
I wasn't to blame for it either.
Hey.
And I did watch one of my customers' cars burn down on last Saturday.
Oh,
Oh
geez.
man.
Yeah, yeah. We wasn't it wasn't at the shop. It was in town, and I just happened to be around. And I said, "Well," I was talking to the people around. I said, "Well, this kind of looks bad on me because I'm the mechanic of that car." I'm like, and here I'm standing there watching it
Now
burn.
you're standing and watching it burn. That's
Yeah,
wild, Frank.
yeah. It was cool experience to stand there and watch a car. I've never watched a car
Yeah.
burn to the
Yeah.
ground before, but
Yeah.
Gee.
this one did.
Oh
So
man.
that was real customer service right there. We
Mm.
we
You were
really
there
took
to
care.
support them. I think they probably
I was
appreciate
there to
that.
support them.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully, Frank, you didn't try to sell him a Chevy Cruze or something.
Oh
No,
man.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, she's burning.
yeah, it was on fire.
Jeez,
Yeah,
Holy moly.
nice old Buick. But
Mm.
yeah, and don't know why. Don't know why we had it in for we had it in for rear sway bar links just earlier that week.
that's got to be it. Yep.
Yeah, ever since you.
Ever since you put sway bar links in, my car started
Car
smelling
caught
like
on fire.
smoke,
Yeah,
and then it caught on fire.
Oh my goodness. Well,
yeah.
I hope a pleasant insurance experience for them.
Well, let's see. They were supposed to bring me a car today to look at, but for some reason it didn't happen.
Mm.
We're looking at a newer Buick, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's not easy to find replacement cars right now, too. Especially
Oh my
again,
goodness, no.
that's why a lot of people are approving a lot of work because for them to find a newer vehicle or buy a new car, it's just not in the budget. So they'll spend a couple $1,000 to keep the car going, right?
And to find a good car, especially in our area that doesn't have all kinds of rust,
Rust
is
and
really
everything.
hard.
Yeah.
Really hard to find something new at a decent price. Anything that's you got to look for almost like a 4, 5, 6 year old car if you don't want something that's all rotted out and 300,000 kilometers on it.
Tina, at the shop you're at right now, do y'all do like digital inspections, or how do you communicate with your customers?
So we use Shopware. It has like our, RO MPI on there, check
Okay,
boxes for the things that we
digital
inspect.
experience something. I think that's what what's it called?
The program.
No, sorry, the inspection. They have a special name for it. I can't remember.
We call it a courtesy visual inspection. Like that's kind of the basic one. That's the free one we do
Okay,
with every car.
and you can send
Um,
them pictures and videos of what's going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do, any body damage, do the walk arounds. We're trying
Yep.
to get back into doing, just like the general videos. I'm not the best at remembering, but my service advisors make sure to let me know that I'm missing them.
Yep.
But I'll do videos for sounds, if we're hearing something, if we got someone in the air with the car. But yeah, so we can take pictures, multiple pictures of everything, multiple videos of sounds and stuff like that.
Yep.
So then, and they can see that in real time. So we'll have some customers that like once we add a new thing and then the service advisor puts the next job on, they're like in the office, like, hey, can you improve my wipers? Hey, can you, so we have some
Yeah.
people excited like that. But for the most part, we'll check off everything. We'll do our inspection. It'll get emailed or texted to the customer. Then they can look through it, check everything, look at the pictures, and then they
Streamlines
can
everything.
literally click and approve, or they can, do a phone call as well. But they can self approve as well on there.
So that's have you had that for a while at the shop you're at?
Yeah, yeah. I think she's used it as long as I've been there, and possibly longer. I think for the most part, yeah,
A game changer software, really.
yeah, yeah.
To
I
be
mean, it's
able,
nice to have that kind of communication with people so that they can see it, and also when we have things like, we've had a couple of those lovely Kia engines with the oil consumption. So, trying to get people that still might be in warranty over there, but we'll
yep,
be like, hey, you can show them all this information. We did check it these 3 times, but we don't have the proper you know, system that they need to be able to get you a new engine.
yep,
So we'll do stuff like that of like, all right, now here's the information that you guys have. You can
okay,
take that to the dealership to get the proper work done, but they can also
yep,
see the history of we've noticed this. They only went 1,000 miles and they're out, that sort of thing.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah, I think that's for the industry. That's been really good. It gives customers a sense of like this shop's not trying to take advantage of me, and
Yeah.
you can actually see, okay, yep, I need brakes because there's no pad or the
Yeah.
rotors are look like the surface of the moon. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
adds some validity to everything that we say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's some good stuff out there.
That's good. Tina, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We're almost pushing an hour here, and I can see Frank's looking a little bit sleepy over there.
I'm old. Remember that.
I know he turned 29,
All these
I did.
excuses, man.
29 and a half.
Wait till you get to be my age.
Tina, hopefully we'll see you at ASTA in
Yeah,
September, end of
yeah, definitely gonna
September.
try to get down there.
And if I should be going, I haven't booked my spot yet, but I should
It's
be
booked.
going. I know, Frank. I'll be there. If anyone listening is interested in attending ASTA, if you go on Google, just search ASTA Expo. It's in Raleigh, North Carolina. Definitely a game changer. I've been there once, and it really was one of the best expos I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Um, so definitely, if you want to check it out, go on Google, search for that. Uh, Thank you everyone for listening. Search for us on Facebook, Shop and Tread Talk Podcast. And thank you very much. Tina, hang on the line. And everyone, good night.
So yeah.